Today we're going to talk about how to uh, make a cover for a pot. I have my pot. I've wet down the rim and made it nice and flat. You don't want to add clay to a pot that has dried out too much. So make sure that it's soft enough that you can add a new coil to it. So first I'm going to prepare the pot to hold the lid. So I'm going to roll out a nice coil and make it kind of thick. Make sure it's long enough to go all the way around your pot. So I'm going to join it the same way I always join my coils. I put my thumb on the inside, my fingers on the outside, and push down and bring up. So I get my coil attached really well. And when I get back to the beginning, I'm going to break the clay off so that I only have one coil. So I'm going to go around with my thumb and make sure that that coil is joined really well on the inside. So I'm just doing this with my thumb on the inside. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the outside. And at the same time, I'm kind of pushing in to make a little indentation there. I believe they call this place that your cover is going to sit a galley. So now I'm going to take my sponge and I'm going to put my fingers inside and I'm going to hold them pretty much straight up, and then I put my index finger on my sponge, my thumb underneath and my index finger here, and I'm going to push with my index finger so that I make that indentation more pronounced. As I do that, I turn the pot. Okay, so now I want to make the galley part. So I'm going to put my fingers, I think I'm going to use my middle finger. And again, the same thing with my index finger. And I'm going to push against the top of the coil. So it's pushing against my middle finger. And I've got my middle finger in that indentation on the outside. So what I'm making is the place for the cover to sit. I'm going to get any water that dripped out into the bottom off of there. Make sure your inside is smooth. So this is where my cover is going to sit. Now I can go around and with my index finger and my thumb bring the side of that up a little bit. So I don't know whether you can see that easily, how I have that indentation on the outside, and this is where I pushed, and then I bring up the side. Now you can see that it's kind of uneven, but I'm going to let it set up a little bit before I try to cut it. You want it to set up too much because it'll be hard to cut. But basically, I'm just going to do it now so I can show you. I find the lowest point, which I presume is right about there, and I'm going to cut the same way we've been cutting. Turn the pot, hold the tool steady. That's what happens when it's a little too wet. The tool drags on the clay. Okay, so now you can take your sponge and smooth that whole top off. So I've got the sponge between my two fingers, my index finger and my middle finger, and I wrap that around the edge of the pot. Okay, so now I have a spot where my cover is going to sit. So now I need to make my cover. So I'm going to grab a piece of clay, and I'm going to roll it out. Now I brought a couple of things to use as pookies for the cover. One is this, which is pretty much about the right size. And this is the pot that I actually made it in. So if I use that, I can either put my slab over the outside or put it on the inside. I'm going to roll out my slab. And again, always make sure your slab is thick enough to work with. A lot of times we make things a little bit too thin to start with. So now, if I'm going to do it this way, this is called a hump mold or a drape mold, where you put the clay or you drape it over the top of it. This is called a press mold if you put it inside like this. Now, the shape of this is a little bit deeper. So if I use this one, I'm going to have a cover that's a little bit more dome shaped. If I use this one, which is what I think I will use, I think I like it a little flatter. So it's still going to be dome shaped. And then I'm going to cut it. So again, you're going to have to let this set up a little bit before you take it off, otherwise it's going to lose its shape. But basically, this is what it's going to do. It's going to sit inside. It's way too big. So we're going to have to let this set up a little bit. And after that has set up a bit, I'm going to come back and show you how to put a handle on the sides or on the cover. So we're going to give this a chance to all set up.